Motoring 2012 on TSN is brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward.
Over 50 vehicles debuted at the auto show in Los Angeles, and as usual, the car makers were telling the media about what a great year it had been and how the future looked even better. It was your usual auto show happy talk, with maybe the exception Volkswagen. Over there, things were a little more serious because the Volkswagen Group, which also includes names like Porsche and Audi, is predicting that it will be the #1 car maker in the world someday, surpassing names like General Motors and Toyota. And they're also predicting that by 2018, Volkswagen will be selling 800,000 vehicles in America. In 2011, they sold just under 300,000. Well, the first step towards this lofty goal is returning to the U.S. to once again build German cars.
I think the truth is that Volkswagen made a great success early in our career in the US marketplace. Then we kind of lost our way for a number of reasons, and our presence really shrunk. What we're now doing is really reconnecting with that interest and that heritage in the VW brand. And so just as the recession hit, we'd made a decision to invest $1 billion in a new facility in Chattanooga. Also $3 billion of investments in infrastructure, in products, and really re-establishing the VW brand here in the North American region.
We came during the time of the deepest recession, and we had 2,000 jobs available, and we received 85,000 applications, which was of course good for us because we really could choose among the best. The plant is designed for 150,000 all-new Passats per year, and these Passats are being sold in the NAFTA region, so in the US and Canada and Mexico. It's the only plant in the US, and we use this plant to be close to the customer, but also to be safe of currency fluctuations. And we have designed this car just for the American customer, so this is very important to be close to the customer.
You know, when Mercedes and BMW started building cars in the United States of America, there were a lot of raised eyebrows. Would the American version be as good as the German one? Well, today, I don't think it's an issue. However, with Volkswagen, they now have a Passat made in the USA.
The heart of the car is a German car, and it's the same with the manufacturing facility. The heart of this facility is in Germany. We have 62 plants worldwide, and what we've done here in Chattanooga is we've taken everything that we've learned at all of our plants throughout the world, and we've taken the best out of that, and we've placed that right here.
I think it's clear that there isn't any single solution in terms of improving fuel economy, looking for alternative propulsion. Diesel has a role to play, other alternative fuels have a role to play. What we're seeing with the Passat TDI, here's a vehicle that offers in manual form 43 miles per gallon on the highway. This is a vehicle that actually can run 795 miles between refills. This is real world fuel economy, perfectly suited to North American driving behavior and highway driving over long distances.
Diesel has a 40% penetration in Canada, so it would seem that more and more Canadians are understanding the benefits of clean diesel. However, here in the States, it barely reaches 20%. Why this resistance? Could be something as simple as price.
It's part of the challenge. You know, more and more people are understanding that. Right now, over 20% of our total vehicle sales are clean diesel TDIs. And so that number is growing. It's up almost 40% year on year. So yeah, people are beginning to understand this is real world benefits in terms of fuel economy and emissions performance.
As with the Jetta, a lot of loyal owners are not going to like the Americanization of the Passat, but get over it. It feels like a European car, it looks like a European car, it just has size on its side now.
You see these gray hairs? I've earned every one of them. More later on Kenzie's Corner.
It's always played second fiddle to its German competitors. On this edition of Test Drive, the Volkswagen Passat. In redesigning the Passat, Volkswagen tackled its key competition head-on. Most had a distinct size advantage. The first impression of the new car is one of substance and size. The latest Passat is almost 5 meters long, it's within a whisker of being 2 meters wide, and it rides on a long 2803 millimeter wheelbase. While it's listed as being a mid-sized ride, the reality is it verges on being full-sized. The Passat's back seat is absolutely enormous. There's plenty of stretch-out space, plenty of headroom. The only thing you got to watch, don't draw the center spot because there's nowhere to put your feet. The base Passat is powered by a 2.5-litre 5-cylinder engine. While it manages to push 170 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque, it really does have its work cut out for it in this full-bodied sedan. Mat the gas from a standstill and it takes 8.2 seconds to reach 100k. Certainly not snail-like, but far from fast. The optional 3.6-litre V6 makes an enormous difference. It transforms the Passat from sedan to sports sedan. As with all new Volkswagens, the cabin of this Passat has been upgraded appreciably. You'll now find nice soft-touch materials, very nice two-tone finish, comfortable front seats, and if you go with the high-end model, you get a ton of equipment. Power moonroof, a navigation system that includes a touchscreen, and a very loud and proud Fender audio system. The oddity? No backup camera. When it comes to ride and handling, the Passat does not feel as large as its dimensions suggest. Through the pylons, the front struts and multiple rear links dialed out all but a few degrees of body roll. The response to steering input is crisp, and understeer, well, it really only surfaces when the driver takes liberties. This Passat trunk is absolutely enormous. 15.9 cubic feet, and it benefits from 60/40 split folding rear seats. However, not everything is as it should be. These hinges, they will crush anything placed beneath them. The other problem is a small one, but it stands out like a sore thumb. The left hinge has got a nice plastic cover on it because it hides the wire that feeds the license plate light. The right hinge, nothing on it, it's a bare hinge. Now come on, this is supposed to be an entry-level luxury car. Get with the program and put plastic on both hinges. As for the rest of it, the Passat comes with a full slate of airbags and electronic helpers. The latter all rely on the electronic stability control system. The anomaly is that, as with the Jetta, there's no on-off switch, which means the driver has no way of overriding its action. Is this a pain, especially on a snowy road, or is it something that really does not matter? The answer at the end of motoring's long-term test. As with the Jetta, a lot of loyal owners are not going to like the Americanization of the Passat, but get over it. It feels like a European car, it looks like a European car, it just has size on its side now. As for the future, well, this car's going to enter our long-term test fleet, and over the next few months we're going to look at the various different powertrains. At the end of it, we'll get back to you with a report.
Jaguar and Land Rover managed to create a real buzz at the Los Angeles Auto Show with 3 new products. First, Land Rover unveiled its Defender concept. Then it was Jaguar's turn with the world premiere of the XK RS convertible. That was followed by the CX-16 concept. It was in 2008 when Tata Motors of India purchased Jaguar and Land Rover from Ford, and with $86 billion in revenue, Tata had lots of cash for both companies. The Evoque is a result of that investment, a fresh design for a brand new customer.
Exciting times because we really go for sustainable growth, profitable sustainable growth, in a way that we are supported by our parent company Tata Motors, but especially by Tata and Tata to go for growth and to think the big picture. We are spending more than ever for product creation, and we have a very, very strong product portfolio right now. Exciting times, and we are going to shape Jaguar Land Rover in a total new way.
We've got a company that is really committed to Jaguar. I think maybe a bit of reverse colonialism, right? You get an Indian company, buying these two iconic brands, and then with Jaguar, we're seeing here at the LA Auto Show what some commitment, some passion, and some money can do to create some of these great new products. An XKRS convertible, but this new CX-16 concept car, which we all are hoping will go into production. We're going to invest over £1 billion, $1.5 billion roughly for the next 5-6 years, which from what I've been told is multiple times more than what was invested in the brands under the previous ownership. You look at Jaguar Land Rover, it's a true focused luxury brand, whereas in the past they're competing for scarce resources, whether it was going to be a new Focus or F-150 pickup truck. So now we've got this dedicated investment.
This is a CX-16. It's a concept production car, which basically means it's a concept car. There's only one of them, actually. It's a two-seater sports car. It's the first two-seater sports car Jaguar has done for many, many years, since the E-Type, really. And that goes back 40 odd years. And so, you feel the pressure that you're picking up something in the past which was truly iconic, and then picking up that mantle again with something that's all new. I personally waited a long time to do this. 12 years since I've been at Jaguar. This is a car I've really always wanted to do. However, we've had more important things or bigger things to do first, to fix the brand, to bring it back in the 21st century. But now we've done that, we can now indulge a little bit, and for me, do what exactly is right for Jaguar for the future. The CX-16, the Defender concepts, the Evoque, that is just the tip of the iceberg of what you're going to be seeing from Jaguar Land Rover. And I think, Tata is clearly expecting a return on their investment. Now we're in the investment mode to get all these products to market, and then we gotta make money. So it's a lot of nervous energy around the company, but really good nervous energy.
Time to update our long-term Chevy Orlando, a vehicle that, despite its name, is not sold to our friends south of the border. Although the Orlando has a lot of cruise DNA in it, including the platform, it is directed towards a completely different customer. It's not a minivan, but it does seat 7, and being smaller than a minivan, much easier to get around town. The Orlando is all about utility, and while you have virtually no cargo space with the seats up, that all changes with easy, flat-folding seats. Blind spots are always a pet peeve with us, and the A-pillar on many cars, combined with large side-view mirrors, can be a big one. With the Orlando, the side-view mirror has been pushed back and makes for a much better sightline. It's powered by a 2.4-liter Ecotec 4-cylinder engine with 170 horsepower. It won't knock your socks off, but then again, the Orlando is more about having a place to pack the socks and all your other stuff. As for the ride, well, just like the Cruise, it's exceptional and quiet.
You know what's wrong with our highways in Canada? Let me tell you, they're too safe, and it's killing us. You want to know more? Go to motoringtv.com and check me out, Howard Elmer.
Well, I just went on the track with it, and I think that we drove the BMW 5 Series and a Mercedes E-Class and the new 350 rear-wheel drive, and I mean, it stands up with the 5 Series. But the big issue is going to be to convince people of that. Lexus has done a wonderful job of creating a luxury market, but now they're after performance, and that's going to take some time.
So Volkswagen wants to be king of the automotive world. Well, if it's all about product, Volkswagen has it. We've seen the new Passat, we've got the new Jetta GLI, and of course the new Beetle. But the question is, why is being number one so important?
First of all, again, let's be clear about what our goal is. Our goal is leadership in the automotive industry. And so leadership means really taking a lead in 4 areas. One is in terms of quality and customer satisfaction. One is in terms of a top employer globally, and then 2 dimensions in terms of volume, 10 million units globally, and a level of profitability on a continuous basis also globally. So it's a balanced strategy. It's not simply a sales goal. It's really about being a leader in the automotive industry, and that's the group objective in total.
Okay, now let's join Bill Gardner with his tip of the week.
Our motoring tip of the week concerns keeping track of service and repair intervals on your vehicle. Why is that important? Well, you may find out years down the road that it's very important. For example, when you go to turn in that leased vehicle, they want to know that you maintained it. Maybe you're trading it in or selling it to a second or third buyer. They want to know as well that it was properly maintained, and it might be the swing factor between you selling or not being able to sell that vehicle if you can prove that it was well maintained. Also, when you're switching service providers, jumping from one dealership or one mechanic to another, or maybe you're cherry picking your service, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that when my customers doing that, but it's really important for me to know what was done, when it was done, and look at those invoices or that electronic trail to find out if they use quality parts, when they put them in, so that I don't double up or backtrack and replace things needlessly that have already been done. Good example, my son John recently bought a used pickup truck. The seller gave him a file folder with hundreds of repair and service receipts in it, even the original bill of sale on the truck. So it told me, A, he gives a darn about the vehicle, B, he did look after it, and C, all the kilometers and dates that he replaced parts on it. Really valuable information for me moving forward, and gave me a comfort level that that vehicle was properly maintained. That's your motoring tip of the week.
This sporty sedan looks like it's been crafted by a fine German hand. It gallops with a similar number of stallions to a Ferrari California. So what is it? This is Hyundai's fastest production car yet, the Hyundai Genesis Sedan R-Spec, and this is its 2-minute test drive. The biggest difference between the normal Genesis and the R-Spec is $13,000 and monster power. The R-Spec has a 5-liter V8 that produces an impressive 429 horsepower and 376 foot-pounds of torque. All that power is sent to the rear wheels by an 8-speed automatic transmission. Inside the R-Spec, I like the 8-inch navigation screen, and I also like the ability to control most functions with one button. The R-Spec is all sports performance, and while the seats are comfortable, my pet peeve with this car is they don't offer enough support when I'm what you might call otherwise actively engaged. While there's no denying the R-Spec is a pure sports sedan, it does help itself with the 8-speed transmission, consuming 13.1 and 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and highway respectively. The Hyundai Genesis Sedan R-Spec is proof that Hyundai's not afraid to take on the likes of Mercedes E550 or BMW 550i. And keep in mind, both those German sedans are priced $20,000 more. There's no all-wheel drive and there's no paddle shifts, but at $53,499, the R-Spec is priced just right. Oh, and the reason why they only put a badge on the back, that's because that's the view most other drivers get of it. I'm Russ Bond, and this has been a 2-minute test drive.
Closed captioning of Motoring 2012 is brought to you by
Greener, fuel efficient, global. This is Chevrolet Now, driving our world forward.
There's two things about getting older. First of all, you live longer. And second thing is, it beats the only available alternative. But you know, we're facing an increasing issue with the age of drivers because as a society, we are getting older. Now, statistically, the worst driving year for everybody is your first year, and that's usually because you're a teenager and you're an idiot. And with a bit of luck, maybe it won't be your last driving year too. There tend to be a fair number of incidences during the 20s and 30s. Typically in the 40s, you start to get a little bit better, you get a little smarter, maybe you got a family, you got more responsibility. But when you get to about age 70, that's when the stats start to climb back up again. And a big part of that, we lose some of our physical faculties. Our eyesight goes away. Well, mine went away when I was about 7, but never mind. And we lose our flexibility. Sometimes our judgment isn't so good, and it gets to be a real problem. Now the question is, what do we do about it? Well, in the old days, in our province anyway, we used to have a driving test at age 70. But by the time my mother-in-law got to be age 70, all she had to do was to go into a classroom with 20 or 30 other older folks. The instructor talked to them, and if you could basically walk and chew gum, bingo, there's your license for another 10 years. I'm afraid that's not going to happen. As the society gets old, it's an increasing issue. So I have an answer. Driving tests. Now, I'm not discriminating against old people. I think everybody should have a driving test, maybe every 5 years. Think about it. First of all, there'd be lots of jobs created, not only to build the test facilities, but for the driving instructors and examiners. Now, driving is a privilege, it's not a right, so of course you'd pay a fee for that. It would be self-sustaining. So think about it. We'd have lots of jobs, improve the economy, and we'd save a lot of lives. I don't have a problem with that. I'm Jim Kenzie.
So the Volkswagen plant is up and operating in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and soon 150,000 Passats will be leaving town every year. And with 61 other VW plants operating around the world, this company will continue its quest to be #1. But before it can reach that pinnacle, it has to win the hearts and the pocketbooks of Americans. And that means selling almost 600,000 more cars in 2018 than it did in 2011. Now, you know that old adage, if they build it, will they come? And in this case, it's to the showroom. Well, I know at least 2,300 workers in Chattanooga that are betting they will. Before we go, make sure you check us out at motoringtv.com and join us on Facebook for the total motoring experience. That's it for now. We'll see you next time out as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
We would love to see, we have our exciting, the Fire Opal Red. We have a lot of exciting new colors now for the coupe and the sedan, and we'd love to see more of them out there, and we expect to. We still have some traditional elements that our customers like to stick to, and our customers, they like their blacks, they like their silvers.
Motoring 2012 on TSN has been brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward.